College Football 25 just got a surprise update. Now, I've been looking around for a little bit to try to figure out exactly what was updated because this late in the year, we were not expecting an update, but also with these later in the year updates, they have not been putting out official patch notes, which they would do in the early year updates. So it's kind of hard to figure out what's changing, but seeing as it is March, we were not expecting them to update the game anymore. In fact, they said they probably wouldn't be doing any more updates and that they were on to 26. Well, to our surprise, we did get a small update and it was actually a pretty good one. They fixed something that had been broken in the game for a while and something that's actually really important to the game, and they surprisingly did add some new uniform and helmet content as well, so we always like to see that. If you are new to the channel and you never want to miss out on any of these important updates, or more importantly, all of the news we're going to be getting very soon about College Football 26, make sure you subscribe and turn the bell icon on because you don't want to miss any of that news when it drops. We're probably going to be getting a lot of news here soon. Within the next 6 weeks, I would say, we're going to start getting some important news for that game, so you're not going to want to miss it. Now, a while after the update, they did make a tweet on their Twitter account or X account, depending on what you call it, and they said, today's update features a boost to option-based offenses with tuning to the pitch mechanic. This means you will have more consistent success when running option pitch plays in College Football 25. Now, this is something that had been kind of messed up for a while. At the beginning of the year, I felt like the option worked good. In fact, the speed options in general, I thought were almost too good. They were something I advised everybody to use in their offenses because they were so good. Now, after one of the earlier updates, maybe the second or third update of the year, options noticeably got a lot worse in that, you would pitch the ball backwards a lot and you would lose yards. Like, you would try to pitch it to the running back, but it just wouldn't get to him. If you didn't time it up almost perfectly, he would pitch it backwards and you would lose yards and you sometimes even turn the ball over. It was a huge mess. And I mean, options is one of the biggest things about college football, and one of the biggest differentiators between, playing Madden and playing College Football 25 is that you're going to have a lot more options and they're going to run smoother. You're going to have more variety of options. You're going to have the under center flex bone offenses and things like that. So the fact that this wasn't working was, or I wouldn't say it wasn't working, but you could still run options, but they were not running like they were supposed to. They were kind of hit or miss to the point where it was almost a little too risky to run it unless you kind of had it perfected, because you would probably lose yards or lose the ball. Well, as you can see here, I'm running the option a good little bit. It seems like that this did get fixed indeed. Obviously, there's still going to be some instances where you pitch it backwards. There are going to be some instances where it does bug out. It's a video game. That always was kind of true with college games and the option, but it's noticeably way better. They definitely did fix it, so that is good to see. So if you are a guy that likes to run those under center offenses, or you like to run options and shotgun or whatever the case may be, now you'll be able to do it. It seems like they fixed it, and I'm glad that they got this fixed. I know it's been broke for some months now, which is kind of a little bit ridiculous if we're being honest, but the fact that they did still fix it this late in the year, I think is a good thing, knowing that, hey, people are still playing your game and they want to play it, until the next game drops, or even, some people might not get next year's game. They might be good just having this game, and, not everybody buys sports games every year. They go every other year or every 2 years. So it's really important that you get in and fix these crucial things for the people that want to stay on your game for a longer period of time. So I'm glad that they went in there and finally got that addressed. Now, really quickly, before we get on to the other stuff that was updated, I do want to shout out today's video sponsor, Underdog. If you like sports and you like winning money, then you've got to be on Underdog playing their pick'em game. Basically, all you have to do is pick higher or lower on player stats, and if they hit, you can win some big money. But the best part about Underdog is they give you a free play when you sign up, and they give you bonus cash to start with. So, for example, if you want to sign up right now, they're going to have a Luka Doncic special, meaning all he has to do is get 1 point, and that's it. You win. That's all you need is for him to score 1 basket. And every single night that Luka Doncic plays for the rest of the season, this special will be available because they're trying to capitalize on the hype of him now being a Laker. And no matter when you sign up, even if it's a night that Luka isn't playing, if you sign up a couple weeks from now, there'll be other players like Giannis Antetokounmpo or whoever the case may be to get a single point. There'll always be a special just like this when you sign up. And if you use my code RAY, R-A-Y, they're going to also give you up to $1,000 in bonus cash after you deposit, and you just cannot beat that. Now, moving on with the update, there were people in the community that did notice that there were some new helmets and uniforms added to the game, which was kind of another surprising thing, because while they were doing this all year long and giving us a lot of new alternates and new uniforms that teams were putting out, this late in the year, we had heard that they weren't going to be doing any more of this and that they were pretty much completely on to College Football 26. Well, they kind of dropped a little surprise in there for us yesterday and didn't even mention it. And sometimes they do this where they'll put some new uniforms or accessories or whatever the case, equipment in the game, and then they kind of just leave it up to the community to find it, which I don't really prefer that. I like when they just tell us what's in there so we can go look for ourselves and just see it right away instead of having to kind of search for it. But some members of the community did find some of this new stuff, and I did get these pictures from Operation Sports as somebody in their community posted it in the comments. So first up, we've got Oregon. They added their Rose Bowl helmets, the chrome helmet with the green wings. Now, I did confirm with somebody at EA, and they did say that yes, they did add some of the bowl game stuff that teams unveiled this year. So once the college football playoff started, you got certain teams that broke out new helmets and such because, you know, in college football, they're constantly doing new jerseys or new helmets for these different things, especially in the postseason. So that's why we kind of got this little bit of a late uniform update, because they're just kind of throwing in some of the stuff for the teams that were in the postseason. Now, there was another Oregon helmet that was added as well. It's a chrome helmet with the black wings, and it has the yellow O in the back. And I believe this wasn't actually worn this year, but this maybe was one that they were going to break out in a later game if they had made it further in the bracket. So that's probably why we didn't see this, but they were planning to put it in, or they were planning to wear it, so EA did put it in the game. Moving on to Kansas State here, you can see that their all-white helmet that they wore in the bowl game this year, that is now in the game as well, which looks really clean. I've been saying this for months on the channel. Every time we get new uniforms and updates, I like all-white helmets. I like all-white uniforms as well. I just think they look really, really clean. You can't beat an all-white helmet. So you can see here, Kansas State has their new helmet in the game. Moving on here to West Virginia, they've got their bowl helmet in the game as well. You can see the all-gold helmet, which I think is a pretty good look. I mean, gold and blue is a pretty elite color combination, but with the gold helmet, it just really adds a little bit extra pop to it, in my opinion. So if you're a West Virginia fan, you can check that out in the game as well. Moving on here to UNLV, their LA Bowl throwback helmet is in the game, the white helmet with the Rebels on the side, which I'm not gonna lie, because when it comes to UNLV, I don't like a lot of UNLV's like uniform combinations. Personally, I don't like their standard helmet. This combination right here, this uniform and this helmet, I think absolutely looks clean. This is like their best look in my opinion. So kind of good that they got that in the game. And UNLV, kind of one of the more fun teams to play with in my opinion because of their playbook. So that's in the game. They also did add a couple of new jerseys to the game. Toledo's gray jerseys and their pants were added as well. So this was, I don't think, a bowl game specific thing. I think this was just a uniform combination that still needed to be added. So we did get that in the game, which is nice to see here. And then I was also told that Utah State got their all black unis in the game. I don't believe these were already in. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I was told that these were also new. So if you play with Utah State, they didn't have a bunch of different jersey options as is. So getting a new set of alternate jerseys there is definitely pretty big. Now, on top of that, I also was told that they did some other things in this update in terms of bowl patches for the teams. They updated every bowl team's patch placement. So I'm just assuming that maybe certain teams that were in bowl games this year, maybe they switched up their patch placement from previous years. I wouldn't know. I don't go that deep into things, so I don't know, which teams wear bowl patches and which spot, but I was told that that placement was updated. So if you have a team, one of your favorite teams, if they did make a switch up this year for their bowl game, I've been told that that has also been added in this update to kind of reflect, their most current look. So if you're more of like a uniform head and you kind of know all those little details, you could check that and kind of confirm, but that is what I was told. Now, with College Football 26 coming up, we already got a decent little bit of news and rumors and kind of things to look forward to that we can pretty much expect to be in the game. If you want to know more about that, make sure you check out this video right here on the screen.